Well, as much fun as it is managing in the Football League, having a good start to the season, we've got a good squad of players together, finally earning a decent wage at this football management lark. The big disadvantage of moving to Southend, we have finally moved out of the hotel, but as you can see, the house that we're in, I mean, it's much more expensive than where we were in Scunthorpe, but I prefer the house in Scunthorpe. House prices are expensive down south. How do people down here actually live? I tell you what, 3-bedroom end terrace, £175,000. I feel spoilt from my former life living in Peterborough, because obviously I now live in this house in Southend, and it's 2019. But yeah, those of you who are asking, that's where I'm living. I finally moved out the travel lodge, saving the club £54 a night or whatever it was. I upgraded to Wi-Fi in the end, and we're now living here. Hello and welcome to Season 4, Part 2 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have 2 away games, one against Wimbledon in the league, and an interesting one for me anyway, because it's the first time I've done one, in the Checkatrade Trophy. We're playing against the Arsenal under-23s. Now I know this is a thing in real life. Obviously, as a lower league football fan, I am refusing to support it and haven't been to any of these games because it's a stupid nonsense competition, but you know, quite interesting. We're Southend. We're going away to Arsenal. Presumably it's not at the Emirates. I guess it's wherever the under-23s play. I feel like they played at Barnet at some point. Perhaps it's at Barnet. But there's likely to be some half-decent players in the Arsenal under-23 side, and it should be quite an interesting one. That aside, as you'll see from just up there above my head, we're top of the league. 100% perfect start. 4 wins from 4 games. It has been a good start to the season. We knocked Birmingham out of the EFL Cup. Took Leeds all the way. They scored their winner in the 28th minute of extra time to actually knock us out. We defended brilliantly. Didn't change tactic. We were still just doing our normal attacking thing, but it seemed to work quite nicely. Very satisfying for me on a personal level. We put 5 goals past the Cobblers, which I enjoyed very much. And the right players are scoring the goals. We've got some decent goal scorers. Ogo Obi has scored 3 in 4 games. Nicholas Schiavi, likewise 3 in 4 games. Jonathan Benteke, 3 in his last 3 games. The front 3 are firing. What it does mean is we haven't found a space in the squad for Pike yet. A couple of you have said, why not just play him instead of your backup goalkeeper on the bench? Well, as you can see today, we've got a greyed out player as our backup goalkeeper because all our other goalkeepers are off doing busy work. The reason he's not on the bench isn't because he's not good enough to make it onto the bench. I'd rather have him on there than Sam Byrne or Martel Taylor-Crossdale, who's still injured. But the reason he can't be on there is because in the league we have a limit of 5 loan players. He's here on loan. We have 5 loan players in our starting 11. And they're in players where we don't really have adequate backups. Fowler, very important at centre-back, especially while Adam Jackson's still coming back from injury. Rob Tumulty really is the only left-back we've got at the club. We have Tyrell something or other. I forget his surname. No, it's got there you go, Tyrell Robinson. He's a backup, but really a winger. So we don't really have anything else at left-back other than moving Ellis Plummer across, which again relies on Adam Jackson being fit. So we can't take either of those 2 out the side. In midfield, James Blanchfield and Aidan O'Neill are at least League One quality players, and the backups behind them are fairly thin on the ground. We're looking at the likes of James Craig and Brandon Cromley. No, they're just not the same quality of player. And Ogo Obi, 4 goals from 6 games. How do you drop him to bring Pike in? So, Rekyle Pike, I think that's how you say his name, he's played in the 2 League Cup games. We've let him have that. He'll play in the Checkatrade Trophy game against Arsenal as well, I imagine, unless something comes up. But as it is at the moment in the league, certainly until Jackson is fit again and gives us a few more options in defence, or until someone else picks up an injury, Pike won't even be making it on the bench, and hopefully he won't get all grumpy before he gets a chance to make it into the team. So this is our 11 for the first of today's 2 games away against Wimbledon. We've got Smith in goal, Tumulty, Plummer, Fowler and Romeo as our back 4. Wordsworth, O'Neill and Blanchfield in midfield with Benteke in behind Obi and Schiavi, no one knows. I feel like for the first time since being at Southend, and actually, when you look at the last half a season we had at Gainsborough, it's the first time in a year, at least, of this save that I know what my best 11 is. And it's the players that are on the pitch now. There's a couple who might come back. Oh, we've got the pink kit today. A couple will come into contention for that best 11 when they're fit again. Most notably, Jackson will come into the back four somewhere. I'm not entirely sure where. But everywhere, every other spot in that team, I think we have the best player at the club to do that role currently in the side. And it's nice to be able to say that because we were just kind of randomly rotating players around for most of last season, trying to try players in different places, see who was going to do what for us. And it's nice having a settled first team. It's nice knowing who the best players are. It is a bit of a worry that there is, especially in midfield, we've not got much in the way of certainly established backup players. We've got the likes of Broccoli and Meadows who are bags of potential, but not quite. I wouldn't want them both in the team week in, week out at the moment. They're not quite at that standard yet. So if we do pick up a couple of injuries in the wrong kind of places, fullback again is another one where 1-0 up. Fullback is another one where we don't have much in the way of backup positions. So we could be derailed by injuries to fullbacks or midfielders, but aside from that, I'm really, really happy with this squad. I think I made a big fuss about it last time, and the start to the season has been better than we could possibly have hoped for. And there you go, it's all kicking off again. Romeo plays it through to Schiavi, who tucks away. Is that his 4th or 5th goal of the season so far? Certainly, he has been in some very good form in the league. Is that Josh McEachran, who was supposed to be a Chelsea wonder kid a few years ago? And I don't even know if he still exists in real life, but that's interesting seeing him down at this end, this level, and bearing in mind we're 3 years into the future now. He obviously didn't feel that potential, did he? If he's turning out for Wimbledon, not a lot has happened since the goal went in this half. Although Benteke's got the ball on the edge of the area, but loses out to Wimbledon, and they have the chance to come at us. There's 4 minutes left before half time, so there's plenty of time for them to build an attack. O'Neill intercepts so to Obi. Benteke, he's got Schiavi ahead of him. He elects to shoot, and it's a poor shot. Drifts, just sort of bobbles wide. Didn't really have enough oomph to it to make it to the goal even. But importantly, we're 1-0 up at half time, away from home. And we've got to be satisfied with that. I mean, if we can pick up a 5th straight win to start the league season off, that's how you start the season with a bang. Romeo intercepts well there, but Obi gives the ball away quite carelessly in the centre of the pitch, and McEachran does seem to be spending a lot of time on the ball for Wimbledon. Obviously, if it is the one I'm thinking of, presumably it's the number 31 who was in the middle of their midfield 5. You can't see any of this because it's behind my head, but they're playing a 4-5-1, and McEachran was in the middle of it. But they now seem to have switched him out to the left, which is an interesting decision because he seems to be controlling the game. So I'm on board with that. Stick him up front if you want. He's not going to influence the game much from up there. Schiavi has now picked up a knock. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Potential upper body injury. Taylor Crossdale is still injured and not fit to play. So we'll bring on Byrne. We've not played Byrne and Obi together yet. I'm not sure which way around we want to do it. We'll do that. We're not going to switch Byrne to a target man. That's what he was doing for us most of last season. But we seem to be doing rather well with the defensive forward poacher combo. So we'll just stick Byrne on as a defensive forward. He's quite capable of doing that as well. And we're also going to take off Benteke and bring on Craig. And didn't realise how far into the match we were when we got the injury. Missed out on my compulsory second substitution in the 70th minute. So if it all goes wrong now, it's because I haven't stuck to my usual substitution schedule. And that troubles me greatly. Wimbledon they're sort of creeping back into the game. And not so much creeping, are they? I'm talking about them creeping and they're just going, hello, we've equalised now. You probably need to start attacking at some point, Southend, because you've not really offered us anything other than that goal in the first half, and that's a poor bit of goalkeeping from Ted Smith. And what is going on with his shirt? Is that covered in mud, or have we got an awful away goalkeeper's shirt that I've somehow never noticed before? We haven't had a clear-cut chance all game. If we come away from this with a draw now, we're at risk of it being a bit of a mugging. We're going to bring Comley on. I mean, it's not the massive game-changing substitution in midfield, presumably, but we have been a little bit tame and a little bit poor in this match. Remember, we did play 120 minutes. Oh, Burns just That's a poor miss. We did play 120 minutes away against Leeds in midweek and had the disappointment of that late defeat, but still, it would have been nice to keep the momentum going in the league, and that one stings a little bit because, I don't know, it feels like a game we should have been winning, especially going into a game against the Arsenal under-23s, who are presumably going to be much better than us. We're at risk of going 3 games without a win, and that is how you derail momentum. Right, the team for Arsenal don't really need to change much at all. Schiavi's injured for a week. We were going to play Pike anyway in this game, so you get to meet Rekyle Pike for the first time in this game. Remember, he got over 30 goals for Carlisle in this league last year, and we've got Ogo Obi alongside him, who is already proving his worth as a goal scorer for us at this level this year. And Arsenal have got Danny Welbeck and Jack Wilshere and Santi Cazorla and Koscielny in their team. How is that an under-23 team? How many over-23s are they allowed? That is mental. We're going to get absolutely battered. Well, this is going to be interesting. I mean, presumably Wilshere will just get injured in the first minute or so because he's Jack Wilshere. But the rest, I mean, Cazorla must be about 50 by now. I mean, he's old, and he's older than me in real life, isn't he? And we're in the future here. The man's probably got grandchildren at this point. Right, Benteke. We're attacking against Arsenal here, and Romeo just sort of crosses it straight into their goalkeeper's hands. Romeo gets forward well on that right-hand side. His crossing is so wayward, though. He needs to get a good 4 or 5 crosses in for every one that goes anywhere near one of our players. If he can master crossing, he'll be a superb wing-back. As it is, he's entertaining watching him charge forward. I don't think teams feel particularly threatened by him, though. And Welbeck crosses for some lad called Michael Ingram, who it looks like he's a regen, unless he's another one with perfect skin. And yeah, we're 1-0 down after 15 minutes. It looks like we're playing at the Emirates. I didn't actually check on the match stats. Surely they don't play these silly games at proper grounds. We are playing at the Emirates. Is that how it does it in real life? That seems mental. Since when did the under-23s play at their proper ground? I bet there's nobody here. Who on earth would go to the Emirates on a Tuesday night to watch Arsenal under-23s against Southend in a tournament nobody wants to play in and nobody cares about winning? I'm flabbergasted. Against anyone else, there you go, 6,000 people in the Emirates. That's quiet. That's not many people there, is it really? Again, in all our other games, we'll play a massively rotated side. We're only playing the good ones because we wanted to have a bit of a confidence-winning boost of doing quite well against an Arsenal under-23 team. Didn't realise they were going to cram it full of as many internationals as they possibly could. And we're 2-0 down. It's a Cazorla through ball. And yeah, we're just being completely outplayed. I mean, there's not a lot we can do about it, but they're playing a very strong side. They probably don't need the other 7 players. They've got just the 4 international superstars would have been enough. They could take on our 11, I imagine. So it's a bit of a shame and just shows what a stupid joke this tournament is, because it's not Arsenal under-23s who are taking us apart. It's Arsenal's squad players, and that just pains me. Pike, there you go, we've seen him touch the ball for the first time. He's probably thinking, when am I actually going to get to play a game at my level? I've played against Birmingham, Leeds and now Arsenal. Can I, for goodness sake, play in a league game to show you that I'm not as useless, my average rating suggests, from all these games where I'm outclassed him? My response to you, young man, is no, you can't. Do something special against one of these teams and then you'll get your chance in the league. Or sign for us permanently, then you can play as often as you like. But we've got no money to pay you or your club to secure your services. Right, Obi, can he find Tumulty, who is running for it? No, he can't, because Jack Wilshere's got a tackle in. And Arsenal are coming at us again, and if they'd have scored there, we couldn't moan, because none of the superstars were massively involved. I mean, it was Wilshere's tackle initially, but it wouldn't have gone down as an assist or a goal for one of the superstars, and that would have given us no grounds for moaning. Right, we're going to take Pike off and give Taylor Crossdale his first run out of the season. He's recovering from injury. We're also going to bring on old man Kelvin Wilson for George Fowler, who's just won League 2 Player of the Month, but seems to be a little bit starstruck against the Arsenal under-23s and isn't having the best of games. Presumably, though, he's marking Danny Welbeck, so I'll let him off because, yes, it's only Danny Welbeck, but remember, we're only Southend. Tumulty's picked up an injury, and all of a sudden I'm starting to get a little bit worried that what we talked about in the last game is starting to come true, because Romeo's off on international duty for a week now and we'll miss our next game. If Tumulty's injured as well, the only backup we've got for fullback is John White. He can't play in both fullback positions at the same time, I don't think. We'll check. But we could straight away be forced to play a winger at fullback in the next game in the shape of Tyrell Robinson, and that's when we might start to come a little bit unstuck, especially as 3 games without a win now. It'd been such a... We can't really complain about Leeds and Arsenal. The Wimbledon one's going to niggle me a little bit, but we are still unbeaten in the league. We've got to look on the bright side. Let's not be old negative, Kev. We've still had a cracking start to the season, considering where we were when we arrived, 6 months ago. Aidan O'Neill is just having a crack from long range, because he'll probably never play at the Emirates again. So why not have a little go at scoring a screamer in front of a whole 6,000 people? There you go. And I still feel as awful about the Checker Trade Trophy as I do in real life. What a stupid joke of a competition, and I hope we get knocked out of it quickly. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and thanks very much for watching.